we can now start. So this is our 106th session. So we already I think we already lost some time. I'm not wasting much time. I'm handing over the
straight road.
I'm making Binu as host. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, over to you, Binu.
Thank you. Good morning all. I'm Binu Lekshmy and I welcome you all to this session on Selenium. For the next couple of hours, we'll be discussing about some of the basic concepts of Selenium website. And our discussion will be purely based on Java. Now moving on to the agenda. First we'll discuss about overview of Selenium. Then what are the prerequisites for working with Selenium. Then we'll create a sample test case to verify the title of a web application. Next topic is different locators. There are primary locators and secondary locators. So we'll be discussing about that. Then the synchronization technique in Selenium with the help of implicit wait. Then we'll see how to automate scenarios when the web elements are contained inside a frame. Last topic is how to select a value from a drop-down. So this is about the agenda. First topic is overview of Selenium. Not talking, can you please go on mute?
Binu, you can mute all. Your host, you can mute all and continue, please.
You see that option here?
Towards the right bottom, you see mute all. In the you should go to the participants list and then you will see an option in the right bottom.
I think this the person has muted, so we can continue. And the participant pane,
or we can remove the person.
Yeah, it is Hariharan. Can you please?
So sorry for that. So I have muted all. Now let me give you the host and then so Binu, now you are host. You can continue.
Thank you. Okay, so the first topic is overview of Selenium. Before going to that, let us discuss some of the basic concepts. In our daily life, we are interacting with different type of applications, right? In our mobile, there are applications. In our laptop, or desktop, there are different type of applications. Each of the application has its own intended purpose. For example, if you want to prepare a lengthy document, you will be choosing Microsoft Word. And if you want to prepare some presentation, you will choose Microsoft PowerPoint. You won't be using Microsoft Excel. So each of the application has its own intended purpose. There are other applications like net banking, wherein user will be able to log into that bank's website and perform the transactions. Then another application like IRCTC, wherein the user can log in and he can search for train and book the available trains based on his need. Then the e-commerce sites. So all these applications has its own intended purpose. In simple term, we can call like an application is a piece of code which is designed for a specific task. Now, when we talk about this application, they can be broadly classified into three. One is desktop application. Then web application and mobile application. Desktop application, that is an application which is installed in your desktop or laptop. It may or may not require an internet for its functioning. For example, calculator. For the calculator to provide the result, it does not need to be connected to internet. It is a standalone application. You can open calculator and you can perform whatever action that you want to do. Third category is mobile application. Those type of applications which are installed in a mobile, and whether it requires internet for its functioning or not, that is a separate issue. We are not going to the details of mobile application. We'll focus our discussion mainly on web application. Web application, in simple term, we can call like it is an application which is hosted in some remote server. And we access it with help of browser using an internet connection. There is another application which is known as Microsoft Outlook. You might have used Microsoft Outlook. The purpose of Outlook is to send and receive email. First, Outlook has to be installed in your machine, and when the system is connected to internet, it will start functioning. The purpose of Outlook is to send and receive email, as I said earlier. We know what is a desktop application, what is a web application, and what is a mobile application. Now, I will show you a few websites, and you need to tell me whether it is a web application or not. This is the official website of Selenium, that is Selenium Dev. And this is Times of India. Next is login to Facebook. So here are three sites. One is official website of Selenium. This is the official website of Selenium. So what do you think? Is this a web application or not? The definition of web application: applications which are hosted in some remote server and we are accessing it with the help of a browser, and of course it need an internet connection. This is a simple definition of a web application. So can you tell me, is this a web application or not?
Web application.
Okay, so Selenium is a web application. Okay, what about Times of India?
That also.
Okay, and Facebook? I can see some response in the chat. Yeah, yes. Okay, now let us try to understand the concept behind this. Whenever you see a website, it can be either a web page or a web application. Feature of a web page is that its contents are static in nature. That is, when two concurrent users are accessing a web page, they will see the same content. Content will not change from user to user. Yes. In case of a web application, it is dynamic in nature. When two concurrent users are logging into a web application with their credentials, they will see different content. Content change from user to user. So we can say like it is dynamic in nature. And for the creation of a web page, for the basics of CSS and HTML, you will be able to create a web page within 2 or 3 days. Whereas in case of a web application, there are a lot of algorithms written, or there may be thousands of lines of code which will ensure that this application will work in any situation. So that is the property of a web application. Now, with this in mind, we can revisit that example. This one is official website of Selenium. When I access the site and when you people are accessing the site, both of us will see the same content. So this is an example of a web page. Whereas Facebook, you know that there will be login functionality, and when different users log in, they will see different content. So this is a typical example of a web application. What about Times of India?
Web page.
You sure? Here at the top, there is a sign-in functionality. Do you see that? Here there is a sign-in functionality, and different users using their account can log into this application and customize the content. If a person is interested in reading political news, he can customize this page. Whereas if a person is interested in reading sports related news or movie related news, you can customize this page. So when a user log in, when a user log in with their credentials, they will see different content. So this is also an example of a web application. So we discussed about, is the concept clear?
Yes.
We discussed about desktop application, web application, and mobile application. This Outlook, we can call it as a hybrid application. That is, it is a combination of a desktop and a web application. As it needs internet for its functioning, we can call it as a hybrid app. Now, a question may come to your mind, We are here to learn and discuss about Selenium. And I'll be discussing about all these basic concepts like application, web application, mobiles. Because we are going to learn Selenium. While working with Selenium, you should know the boundary. Where Selenium can be used and where it should not be. The primary purpose of Selenium is to automate web applications. Selenium automates web application. Selenium will not help you to automate a desktop application. It will not help you to automate a mobile application directly. It needs help of an application known as APM to automate the mobile-related scenarios. The primary purpose of Selenium is to automate web applications. So we are here. Selenium automates web application. You know what is a web application? Now there is a new term, automation. We discussed about this web application. Next is automation. When we talk about testing, testing can be broadly classified into two. One is manual testing and another one is automation testing. In manual testing, testing will be performed purely by testers, whereas in case of an automation testing, a tester with help of an automation tool will do the testing. And the tool which we are going to use for our automation testing is Selenium. In automation testing, as I said earlier, the testing will be done by a tool. So can anyone of you tell me what are the candidates for an automation testing? How do we select the candidates for an automation testing? Are we automate or do we automate all the test cases or any specific test cases that we will automate?
Repeatedly using test cases.
Repeatedly using test cases, you are right. If a user wants to perform a scenario multiple times, the same scenario multiple times with different set of users or different set of data, those test cases we can move into automation testing category. And also, let's take case scenarios. Then you can tell me whatever comes to your mind, you can tell me. Regression test cases. What is regression or what is regression testing? Whenever a new functionality is released in application, we need to ensure that the existing functionalities are not impacted or the existing functionalities should work as it is. And that is regression testing. Whenever new functionality is released or whenever there is a set of defect which is coming, in both these scenarios, we'll be doing regression testing. So we will automate those regression test cases. That is those set of test cases which has to be executed in every release. Those will go into automation testing category. Then, if there are certain test cases for checking the look and feel or the appearance of an application. Do not put it into automation testing category, as a human eye perfection cannot be provided by any of the automation testing tools. So the UI validation, like the look and feel and appearance, you better do it manually. Any other thing related to the automation candidates? Whenever you are doing regression testing, imagine that you are working on a huge project and it has around 500 or 600 test cases, regression test cases. How do you execute that regression test suite? Normally, organization will create a Jenkins job wherein when a new build is triggered, this job will automatically run it, let's say every night, every day at 12 a.m. That particular job will execute. So if the regression suite is a huge one, executing all these test cases at all times and verifying the result, it is really a time-consuming process. In some cases, if the failure is high, we may need to go through the entire result to verify what exactly is the failure. So in those type of scenarios, if your regression suite is a huge one, it is better to group or create different pool of test cases. Let's say pool 1, pool 2, pool 3. In pool 1, you will include all the P1 test cases, all the end-to-end scenarios. All those will go to pool 1. So whenever a new build is coming, you can execute this pool 1 and ensure that all the P1 and the end-to-end functionalities are working fine. When it is pool 2, in pool 2, you can include those set of test cases like medium and some low priority. And pool 3, in the same way, you can group the regression test cases. And the pool 1, that is the highest priority regression suite, you can execute on the day 1 itself. Then pool 2 and pool 3 in the subsequent days. That is a good approach that we normally follow in organization. Then creating pool of test cases. Then another thing is whenever you complete a testing of a release, revisit your regression test cases. And if some of the functionality might become obsolete, or you may need to add additional steps in your regression suite. So the regression suite maintenance, that should be a regular activity that you need to do on a regular basis. So that is about regression testing. That is out of our discussion. But anyway, since it might help you, I discussed about that as well. It is regression test case optimization. After each release. Then, so we started discussion from this automation from this point. Now we know that who are the candidates for regression testing or automation. Now we know that how to select test cases for this automation testing. That is, regression test cases will normally go into this automation testing category. Plus, if there are any scenarios which we need to do multiple times with multiple set of data, those will also fall into automation testing category. Now let's see what are the advantages. Why are we actually automating these regression test cases? Actually, this regression testing automation will help the organization to save money and time. Initially, the time and money will be high as the resources need to be trained on the new tool. So there will be a training cost involved. Then sometimes organization need to purchase a new tool. So that license cost will be involved. Once the resources got enough knowledge in that tool, at a later point, when people actually started using these tools, it really saves the cost and time to the organization. That is, automation saves time and cost. Then the results which are produced by automation testing is 100% reliable. We can trust the results. When automation testers are creating test scripts, they will test that script multiple times to ensure that it will work. That is the main reason we are telling that the results which is produced by automation testing is 100% reliable. Another advantage like it supports lights out execution. That is, your physical presence is not required in front of a machine when the regression suite is running. You can switch off the light and you can move to another laptop and perform your task. That is the advantage of automation testing. It supports lights out execution. So is this clear?
Yes.
So we discussed about automation testing. What are the advantages of automation testing? Now, the next topic is Selenium. Selenium, it is an open source tool. It is free of cost. Then it is a suite of different tools. The Selenium suite contains Selenium IDE, then Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. The Selenium IDE is a record and playback tool. And it is a plugin for Firefox, Chrome, and Edge. This tool will help you to record user action, and when you play back the script, you can see the same actions getting executed in the same order. That is a record and playback tool. Using that tool, you can see some basic commands. What are the commands that Selenium is using to perform a click action or to send keys in a particular element. So it will give you basic information. I can say like 5% of the total task is handled by Selenium IDE. Then the third tool, Selenium Grid, it is used for parallel testing or distributed testing. If you want to execute the regression test cases against multiple machines, we can take help of Selenium Grid. Here also 5% of task is handled by Selenium Grid. And Selenium WebDriver, it is the most powerful tool. Now actually we are in the 4th generation of Selenium. In simple term, we can call like Selenium WebDriver. It is a collection of classes. It is a collection of classes, and in each of the classes, there are methods defined. To call a method which is defined inside a class, you should create an object. That is the golden rule. To call a method defined inside a class, create an object, for instance. inside Selenium WebDriver, there are so many methods available, and we need to call that method with the help of an object or an instance. Then, like for example, if you want to verify the message which is associated with an element, there is a method available. You need to call that method with the help of an object. Or if you want to click on this button, we take that. If you want to click on this back and forth button. Sorry, I did not get that question. What was that? Okay. So if you want to perform any action, like if you want to click on the back button or forth button, there are methods available. You need to call that method. The rest all is done inside Selenium itself. You only need to call a method with the help of an object. That is the golden rule. So learning Selenium is a very simple task if this golden rule is clear for you. So you can say like the remaining 90% of task is handled by Selenium WebDriver. Now, you can see what are the prerequisites for working with Selenium. If you want to prepare some tabular data, you will be using Microsoft Excel, right? Then if you want to prepare a presentation, you will choose Microsoft PowerPoint. And for preparing some lengthy document, you will choose Microsoft Word. Similarly, I want to write a test case or I want to write a test script using Selenium. I need an editor. Editor is the place where we can write our test cases or test scripts. So editor, which we are going to use is Eclipse. So in Eclipse, you need to download Eclipse and install Eclipse in your machine. Then you need to open Eclipse. It is just like an editor. In Eclipse, you will enter the test script. For example, if you want to find the largest among two numbers, like integer a is equal to 10, integer b is equal to 5, then we write if a greater than b, print largest as a, else print largest as b. So you will open Eclipse and you will write this code inside Eclipse. It is just an editor. It does not have the intelligence to interpret any of these lines. What is this int? What is this if? What is this else? What is this print? It does not have the intelligence to interpret any of these lines. So we need support of another software. We need support of Java. So when we are executing a test case, Eclipse will give this to Java. Java will execute this lines of code and result will be given back to Eclipse. In Eclipse, under the console, we human will be able to understand the output. So Eclipse is just an editor, and in order to execute these lines of code, we need help of Java, which is running in the background. So in order to work in Selenium, we need an editor as well as a programming language. That is, in this case, we are going to use Java. So is the prerequisite part clear?
Yes.
Okay. The beauty of Selenium is that it supports multiple programming languages. That is, languages based on object-oriented programming language, it will support. Like Java, Ruby, C#, all will be supported by Selenium. And then if you ask me about the browsers, almost all browsers are supported by Selenium. Supports different browsers. Then it supports different operating system. Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. Now, we can create our first test case using Selenium to verify the title of a web application. This is a demo site. Here, this orange HRM, this is the title which is displayed at the top. We will create one test case to verify the title of this application. For that, let me open Eclipse. I'm going to create a new project. Click on File, New Java project. Whenever you are creating a project name, you should follow some naming convention. The project name should be in Pascal case. Pascal case means, I will show you what is Pascal case. Here, the project name is Demo Selenium. There are two words, Demo and Selenium. The first letter of both the words should be capital letter. That is known as Pascal case. Click on Finish. By default, it will ask you to create a module name. It is not required. You can click on Don't Create. So the project is ready. Open project. Inside this project, you can see that there is a folder JRE system library. So this folder will contain certain set of jar files, and these jar files will help you to work with Java. When you open this jar file, there will be different packages, and inside these packages there will be different classes. So here you can see that there are different classes, and in order to work with Java, we need these jar files. So they are present under JRE system library. Now I'm going to create a new package. For creating a package, right click, go to New, click on Package. When you are creating a package name, It is better that you follow camel case. Camel case is like this. Here there are two words. One is basics and another one is Selenium. The first letter should be small letter and the second word, first letter should be capital letter. This is known as camel case. Click on finish. So the package is ready. Inside this package, we need to create different classes. Right click, new, click on this class. We need to create a class name. For creating a class name, you can follow Pascal case. Title, verification. For every class, there is an entry point. And the main method is considered as the entry point for every class. So when you create a Java class, here there is an option, which method stub would you like to create? I want to create public static void main. If you click on this, main method will be automatically created. And now I'm not going to click on that. Click on finish. This is the class, and there is a shortcut for including a main method. You can type main, then control space enter. Control key space and enter. It will automatically populate main. Main, this control key plus space plus enter key. Now we have included main method. Always remember, this main method is the entry point. If a class does not have a main method included in it, it will not execute. So main is the entry point to every class. As I said earlier, every method, whatever method which is required is available inside the WebDriver. So we need to call that method with help of an object, right? So I'm going to call WebDriver. Then driver is the object. So do new crown driver. Here in our test case, we'll be using crown. So I'm calling constructor of crown. In this line, there are errors. If you go to this line number 9, it is telling that WebDriver cannot be resolved to a type. Then crown driver cannot be resolved to a type. This WebDriver and crown driver are the keywords of Selenium. Right now, there is no communication between Java and Selenium. These are the keywords of Java, that is package, public class, public static void. These are the keywords of Java, and Java knows what to do when it encounters any of these keywords. Whereas this WebDriver and crown driver, these are the keywords of Selenium, and Java don't know what to do when it encounters any of these keywords. So we need to bring in some connection between Java and Selenium. For that, we need help of Selenium jar files. For Java, already the jar files are here. Similarly, we need the jar files of Selenium. To download the jar files of Selenium, you need to go to official website of Selenium. This is the official website of Selenium. Here there is a download option. Click on this download. Scroll down. Here you can see that under this Java version is 4.1.4. Click on that. It will download a zip file, and this zip file will contain the jar files. We need to include those jar files into our project. For that, to include that jar files, you right click on your project, go to properties. Here, Java build path. Click on this class path. Add external jars. Go to the path where you have downloaded that zip file. After downloading, you need to unzip that zip file. Then you will get jar files like this. There is a folder lib. Open that lib folder. There are certain set of jar files. Select all and press open. Again, go to class path. Then click add external jars. Outside this lib also, there are certain set of jar files. We need to include these jar files also. Select all, click open. Then apply and close. Now, in our project, we can see that there is an additional folder, reference library. If we open this reference library, we can see that all jar files of Selenium are present here. These are the jar files of Selenium, and we included these jar files into our project. Now, next thing is we need to remove this error. When you mouse over, again the error is there, but there are some fixes available. You click on import WebDriver. Line number 3 is added, wherein it is importing this WebDriver, and the error here is resolved. In the same way, we need to resolve this error of prompt driver. Mouse over and click on import prompt driver. For importing these packages or classes, there is a shortcut available, that is Ctrl+Shift+O. Control key plus Shift key plus O. It will import the jar. It will import the classes. Now we are set. We are telling Java that we are going to work with Chrome. Now to start that Chrome or any browser, we need its driver executable. The driver to start any browser. Now we need to download that driver executable. For that, go to the official website of Selenium. Under this download, under platform supported by Selenium, there is a browser heading. Click on that. And whatever is your browser, click on the documentation. Now we are going to use Chrome. So I'm going to click on this documentation. And here you can see there is a message, latest beta release and latest stable release. Beta release is Chrome driver 102 and stable release is Chrome driver 101. You need to download this Chrome driver, but before that, you need to check your Chrome version. For that, go to Help. Click on About Google Chrome. My version is 101.0. So I need to download this version. If your Chrome is 102, you need to download this. Otherwise, you need to download this version. Click on that. Here for Windows, there is Chrome driver Win32. Even if your laptop is Windows 64, don't worry. Windows has provided the compatibility, and this exe will work in both Windows 32 and Windows 64. Download that. You'll get one folder like this. Right click. Extract. Open that folder. There is a Chrome driver exe available here. Copy this Chrome driver.exe and just press Ctrl C on Chrome driver.exe. That is Ctrl C here, and go to your project and press Ctrl V. Chrome driver exe is present in your project now. Now the initial setup is ready. Now in Chrome, we need to launch a web application, right? For launching any URL, we can take help of a method which is available inside this web driver. So I'm calling this object driver dot get string. This method is expecting a string, so you can pass that URL as a string here. URL is this is the URL. Copy that. Then in Chrome, this application will be launched. Our objective is to verify the title. This is the title. When we are working in a project, from the requirement document, we will get what is the title and all. Right now, we don't have any requirement document, so we can take this title from the application itself. For that, right click on View Page Source. This will open the HTML, and here search for title. You can see the title is Orange HRM. This is the title. Copy that title. The title is a string, so I'm going to store it in a string variable, string expected. So this is the expected title, and we need to verify this title with the actual title. Actual title we will get at runtime only. So to get the actual title from an application, there is a method which is already defined inside WebDriver, and we are going to call that method. So to call a method, as I said earlier, we need help of an object. So object here is driver. So driver dot get title. Driver dot get title. This will return the title, and we know that the title is a string. So the get title method will return a string. So we are going to store it in a string variable. So string actual title So we have the expected title and actual title. Now we need to compare this. If expected title is matching with actual title, we can say like test case pass, else test case failed. Now if expected title dot equals actual title, test case passed. Else, I'm printing another line, SYSU control space, enter, test case failed. So in this line number 15, we are comparing two strings. So whenever you are comparing two strings, always use dot equals method. So dot equals is used to compare two strings. Then to print a line, there is a shortcut, that is SYSO type SYSO, then control key plus space followed by enter. Now let me execute this code and see whether it will work or not. In order to execute this, go to this blue icon, green icon here and click on run. It has opened the browser, and in browser it is launching the application. We got messages, test is passed, because this expected title and actual title are matching, and that is the reason why this test is passed. This is clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving to the next topic, which is the different type of locators in Selenium. Can you please go on mute? There are mainly two categories of locators. One is primary locator, and second one is secondary locator. There are four primary locators. They are ID, then name, Css Selector, and Xpath. Secondary locators, they are link text, partial link text, then tag name, and class name. In this primary locator, ID will have the highest preference, followed by name, Css Selector, and Xpath. If you take any web application, that web application will contain different elements, like let's say text boxes, then labels, some text messages, then calendar control, then a list of values, then a buttons, then like images. So all these are different elements which is available in a web application. In Selenium terminology, we can call those elements as a web element. These text boxes, buttons, list of values, then images, label. All these in Selenium terminology, we call it as a web element. In order to find out a web element, for example, I want to find out a web element, we are using something known as locator to find this locator. To find a web element, we are using locators, and the locators are ID, name, Css Selector, and Xpath. Those are the primary locators. So here, imagine that you want to enter the username, password, and you need to click on login. Then it will be directed to that home page of this application. So here there are two text boxes. This is the username is a text box and password is another text box. So how can we determine on which element I need to perform action? First, I need to enter this username. So we need to find out the properties of username, and then we can decide on the locator. To finding out the properties of an element, just right click, go to inspect, click on inspect. This will open the Chrome developer tool. There is a shortcut for opening Chrome developer tool, that is Control plus Shift plus I. Control key plus Shift key and I. Here in Chrome developer tool, there is an arrow. Select an element in the page to inspect it. We are going to inspect each of the elements. So click on this inspect and move towards that element whose properties you want to find. After reaching that element, click. Then in Chrome developer tool, one line is highlighted in blue. So this element, when you mouse over on that tag, input tag, our username field is getting selected. It has attributes like name, ID, and type associated with it. These attributes are given by the developers at the time of designing this element. So from this, we can use this property ID. ID is txt username. So in order to find this element, we can use ID as the locator. Let me create a sample test case for this. New class. Name it as login. Include main method, then create the driver object. Press Ctrl Shift O, it will open. It will import those classes, then driver.get URL. The URL. Now we are going to enter data in this username. So we know that it has an ID associated with it. So we'll be using ID as the locator. So ID is txt username. Copy that. As I said earlier, for every action, there are methods defined. We need to call that method with help of an object. So object here is driver. So I'm calling driver object. So driver dot, I want to find an element. We are calling find element method, and it is expecting some object. Find element by its ID. I want to find an element by its ID, and whatever is that ID, you can pass it as a string here. So driver find element by its ID, txt username. This will help to find this particular element username. After finding this element, let's say I want to perform a data entry. So I will be calling sendKeys method of Java, wherein we can pass a sequence of characters. So this is expecting some sequence of characters, and I'm giving the username as admin. So this is very simple. If you remove this dot and brackets, and if you read like a simple English, that is driver find element by ID txt username. The objective is I want to find an element whose ID is txt username. After finding that element, please enter some data. For that we are calling sendKeys. Now let me take another site. In this page, there is a username field available. Now just we're going to find out the properties of this element, username. Just right click, go to inspect. You can see that it is contained in an input tag. Then attributes like type, this text, name is username, size is 10. So here, this element does not have an ID associated with this. It has a name, but it does not have ID associated with it. So in this type of scenario, we have to use the next locator, which is known as name. This is finding element using ID. Next is finding element using name. Driver find element by its name, username, then dot sendKeys. After finding that element, I want to enter some data, so we are calling sendKeys. Whatever is the username, we can pass it here. So here we use name because this element has only name associated with it. But in this example, you can see that this element, username, it has both name and ID associated with it. So whenever an element has both ID and name associated with it, you have to choose ID as the locator, because among the locators, ID will have the highest preference. That is the reason why we choose this ID as the locator. Now, when you are using this name as locator, there is an important thing that you should know. Let me get you to another site. Yeah, this Facebook. Here, there is a radio button, gender. For gender, there is a radio button available. That is female, male, and custom. Now, let us try to find out the properties of these three elements. Right click, click on inspect. So this is custom radio button. Its type is radio, then class associated with it, name is sex, and value and an ID associated with it. Now let me go to the next radio button, that is male radio button. For this male radio button also, you can see that name is sex. So if we use locator as name, it will show ambiguous recognition. That means there are one or two elements matching this condition. So in case of a radio button, you should not use name as locator. Even though name is available, we cannot use that, because there can be chances that there will be multiple elements, multiple radio buttons with the same name. So in case of radio button, you never use name. You have, if ID is available, you can go for ID, or if ID is not available, you have to choose the next locator, which is known as Css Selector. In case of radio button, do not use name as locator, as there can be chances that multiple elements will be available, multiple radio buttons. Will be available. So in this type of scenario, we'll be using the next locator, which is known as CSS Selector. Here you can see that there is a find range button. So now let us find out the properties of this find range. For that, right click, inspect. This is that element. It is contained in a div tag and it does not have an ID or name associated with it. It has only one property known as class. So if an element does not have ID or name, we can go for the next locator, which is known as CSS Selector. To take the CSS Selector, from prompt developer tool itself, we can take the CSS Selector. So right click on that element, go to copy option, and there is an option copy selector. You click on this copy selector. This will automatically copy the CSS selector of this particular element. To copy, then copy selector. And to find an element using CSS selector, we'll be writing like this. Driver, I need to find an element by its CSS selector, and we need to pass that CSS selector as a string argument here. Then, if you want to perform a click action there, we will be calling dot click method. If you want to format the code, you can use the shortcut key Ctrl+Shift+F. If you search in Google, there are thousands of websites describing about how to create a CSS selector. If you want, you can refer that as well, or if, you can directly take the CSS selector with the help of prompt developer tool. Now, we can move to the next locator, which is known as Xpath. Imagine that you are a traveler and you are traveling from Delhi to Mumbai on this particular date, and you are going to click on the search flight, and your objective is to travel on that airline which is offering the lowest price. So the price will be, lowest price will always be displayed at the top. The first element will be the lowest price, and we need to get this text, and if this text is matching with our budget, we can go for booking this flight. So we are interested in reading this price. So in order to find out the properties of that, Right click to inspect. You can see that this element, which is contained in a div tag, it does not have an ID or name associated with it. So we know that if ID or name is not available, we have to go for CSS selector. For that, go to copy, then copy selector. Now let me paste it here. So this is the CSS selector that Chrome developer tool has created for us. Right. Now let us try to understand what is this. Here you can see like a DEL, that is our source, Delhi. Then BOM, that is Mumbai, it is a destination. Now after that, it is telling some data like G825. Now let us try to understand what is this G825. Here you can see that G82501, that is the airline code. So this CSS selector has a dynamic data inside it. This G82501 is an airline code and it is embedded in the CSS selector. So if we create a test case using this CSS selector, it will run to maximum 1 or 2 hours. After that, after 1 or 2 hours, another airline might have come with the lowest price. So this code will change and our CSS selector will fail. So as this has a dynamic information, we can take help of the next locator, which is known as Xpath. There are two ways in which we can create an Xpath. One, we need to write our own Xpath. Second way, we can take from the Chrome developer tool itself. To take the Xpath from Chrome developer tool, right click on that element, go to copy. Here there is an option, copy Xpath. Right click, go to copy, then copy Xpath. Copy the Xpath. This is the Xpath that Chrome developer tool has created for us. Here, if you navigate to this string, you can see that DL is the source, Mumbai, BOM is the destination, then G82501, that is the airline code. So it has captured the airline code, which is a dynamic information. So this Xpath will also fail. It will run maximum for 1 or 2 hours. After that, it will fail. So there is another way of writing an Xpath. We are going to create Xpath manually. There is a syntax for this. This tag name called contains method. This contains method, we need to pass 2 arguments. One is attribute and what is its value, that is value. Two / this is the relative path, then tag name contains attribute and its value. So here tag name is div, or element is contained inside div tag. So we'll be writing / div, then contains. It has only one attribute, that is class name. Class is I, then fair summary tooltip. Since we are using contains method, we can give a portion of this class. There is no need to give this entire class name. So we'll be writing at class, comma, what is its value? Its value is this fair summary tooltip FS18. As we are using contains, we can give a portion of this text. I'm giving tooltip, or let me write like summary, bracket close, parenthesis close. So this is the Xpath that we wrote manually. Now we need to evaluate this, whether this Xpath is correct or not. For that, copy that Xpath, go to your Chrome developer tool and press Ctrl F. You can see that there is an option find by string, select or Xpath. it is telling that the first element is highlighted. This is the first element, 8050, that is first element, and it is highlighted. But you can see that there is 1 of 29. That means there are 29 elements which is satisfying this condition. From this, if you want to get the first occurrence, you can pass and value as 1 here. So put the entire thing in a bracket and put value as 1. Now, there is only one element which is satisfying this condition. So to get the text which is associated with this particular element, we can use this locator. Then driver, find element by its Xpath. Need to pass that Xpath expression as a string. Then from this particular element, we are interested in reading the text. So we are going dot get text method. So this will return the text which is associated with this particular element. So that is about primary locator. Now moving to secondary locator. There is first one is link text. Here there is an element already have an account, then followed by a question mark. So when you mouse over, you can see there is a hand icon. Hand icon means that this is hyperlink. In order to find out the properties of this element, inspect. This element is contained in an A tag. A tag means anchor tag, and it has an href associated with it. Href is actually representing a URL. It is that URL which will be opened when user click on this hyperlink. Then it has some class property associated with it and already have an account. So this is the text which is associated with this hyperlink. So in order to perform a click action on this hyperlink, we can use this text already have an account. Copy that. Finding element using link text. Driver. I want to find an element by its link text. Already have an account, that is the text dot click. Here you can see that already have an account is a lengthy link text, right? So in this type of scenario, we can use another locator which is known as partial link text. This driver find element by its partial link text. So into this partial link text, we can pass that partial text. Here we pass the entire text, already have an account. When we are using partial link text, you can either give already or you can give account. Already dot click. Now there are two more locators, that is tag name and class name. Here, In the bottom, you can see there are so many hyperlinks. The sign up, login, messenger, all these are different hyperlinks. Then there's English, UK, Malayalam, Portuguese, France, all these are different hyperlinks. So imagine that you want to check whether all hyperlinks which is present in this page is working fine or not. So let me try to find out the properties of few elements. When you go to sign up, it is contained in an A tag. The tag is anchor tag. Now if we go to voting information center, it is also contained in a tag name A. Terms, it is also contained in an A tag. So if you want to find all elements which is contained in a particular tag, we can use tag name as the locator. Similarly, if you want to find out all elements which is present inside a particular class, we can use class name as the locator. So to find all elements which is present inside a particular tag, that is a scenario. Till now, we discussed about find element, wherein we will be interacting with only one web element. The second method, find elements. Find elements method will return a list of web elements. Here you can see that it will return a list of web elements. So we are going to call find elements method whenever we are using tag name or class name. You should always use find elements method because there will be multiple elements satisfying that tag name or class name. So we are calling driver find elements method then by its tag name. And you need to pass that tag name as a string. A. So this will return a list of web elements. So we need to store this elements in a list of Java. So I'm creating a list. The content of that list will be web elements because whatever that is written by this line, driver find elements by dot tag name A, it will be web elements. So we need to create a list and content of that list will be web elements. So here list followed by the type of that list, that is web element, and then you should give a name or links. You need to import web element. First import list, then click on import web element. Now we need to iterate through this list and then we can fetch the different properties. For example, now we need to take care of for each loop. So for each web element, T, which is contained in all links. We are starting a for each loop. What this line will do is that it will take each of the element from this list. Here, imagine that the first element is sign up, then login, then messenger. So this for web element T, first it will take sign up. So the T here is sign up. From that T dot, I want to get the text. I can call get text. Then I can do whatever is the verification. If this is, I'm storing it in a variable. If that result is matching your expected condition, you can proceed with the validation. This is how you need to iterate through this list. In the same way, If we want to find all elements inside a class name, we'll be writing driver dot find elements, because there might be multiple elements which is satisfying that particular class name. Say underscore F50. Here also we need to store this all elements in a list. So that is about the primary locators and secondary locators. Now let me complete that test case. Here we need to enter username, password, then we need to click on login. Driver, find element. Need to click on this password. There's an ID associated with it, both name and ID, but by rule, we will be choosing ID as the locator. The driver find element by its ID dot send keys. Password is admin123. Then we need to click on login button. Find out the properties of login. Again, there's an ID associated with it. So driver find element by its ID dot click. We can verify whether this dashboard is displayed. So this is our expected message. Then we need an actual message, which will be taken from this particular element. So inspect, find out the properties of that element. Is contained in an H1 tag, does not have ID or name. So by rule, we'll be taking Css Selector, copy selector. This driver find element by its Css Selector dot. From that element, we need to get the text. So we are calling dot get text. Now we need to compare, as we did earlier, if expected message dot equals actual message. Right? So test case passed. Else, I'm writing test case failed. Now save it and execute. There's open Chrome, and in Chrome application is launched. Just enter that username and password. Then it should verify this message. We got messages test is passed. So is this clear?
Yes.
Now, the next topic is sync in Selenium. So when you are working on a web application which has lots of images, or it has a lot of pictures or videos embedded in it, the web elements will take time to load. But Java does not know anything about the speed of that loading of that page. Java will think that this particular element is not available, and it will immediately fail the script. It will not even wait for that element to load. This there can be other scenarios also, like if your machine is hardware of your laptop or desktop is not that good, then it will take time to load a particular web application. So in that scenario also, we might get the same error. Without waiting for a particular element, Java will assume that the element is not available and it will immediately fail the script. So in order to avoid that, we can use a synchronization technique in Selenium with the help of an implicit wait. So here, let me change this password. We know that I'm going to change this ID to txt pass. We know that there is no element with this ID txt pass. Now let me execute this. Here there is no synchronization technique. This is a simple script. So click on run. Open Chrome. Application is launched. Here you can see that it immediately failed the script. Java line number 20. From this Java line number 20, we are getting an error. That line number 20 is this. This particular element is not available. That is the reason why the script failed. No such element, unable to locate this element. So we need to bring in some synchronization with help of an implicit wait. So I'm going to implement the implicit wait. As I said earlier, every method is available inside WebDriver. We are going to call that with help of driver. So driver, I'm going to call manage method. Manage what? I want to manage my timeout exception. So manage timeout. How do you want to manage your timeout? I want help of an implicit wait. So implicitly wait. First method, here we need to pass the duration. So implicitly wait duration, then dot off. You can see there are multiple ways in which we can pass the duration. One is days, then hours, milliseconds, minutes, nanoseconds, seconds, like that. Normally we'll be passing the duration of seconds. We won't be giving days or hours. So we'll be using of seconds. And what is the duration? I'm giving 20. Now let me execute this. So this is the syntax of implicit wait. Click on run. There is open Chrome. Application is launched. Enter test username, but you can see that this red button is turned on. Earlier, it immediately failed the script. But now, Java is waiting for this particular element to become available, txt pass. So, here what exactly is happening is that when we hit on this run, control will come to this line number 13, where it's the main method. Then it will go to line number 15. It will launch Chrome. Then in Chrome, this application will be launched. It will go to line number 19, where it sees that there is an implicit wait. So Java knows that there is an implicit wait. So what implicit wait is doing is that it will attach itself to all driver.find element. That is, in the script, wherever there is a driver.find element, it will attach itself to this driver.find element. So it will come to this line number 22, where it sees that there is a driver.find element. So it will start a 20-second timer. That is starting from 0. In every 0.5 seconds, it will go and check whether this particular element is available or not. That is 0 and 0 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Likewise, it will check till 20. So here, imagine that after, let's say 2 seconds, this element is available. So it will stop the timer and it will go to line number 24. Here also there is a driver.find element. So it will start a 20-second timer here. That is starting from 0 till 20. In every 0.5 seconds, it will check whether this element is available or not. So this 0.5 seconds, it is known as the polling frequency. This is the 0.5 seconds is known as the polling frequency. And in implicit wait, user cannot control this polling frequency. By default, it will be 0.5 seconds. So here, imagine that after, let's say 1 second, this element is available. Then it will go to the next line where there is a driver.find element. So here also, it will start a 20-second timer, starting from 0 till 20. It will wait for this particular element. So this is how implicit wait is working. So is this clear? The implementation of implicit wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can move to the next topic, which is working with frame. So if you look at this page, it has different sections. This is section 1. When you scroll here, only that section is getting changed. So this is section 2. And this is section 3. So it has 3 sections. Now let us create a simple test for clicking on this hyperlink deprecated. I click new class frame demo. Include main method. And we can reuse this code. Let me change this URL. I want to click on this deprecated. So right click, inspect. You can see that it is contained in an A tag and a text associated with it. So we can use link text as the locator. So we're writing driver find element by its link text deprecated dot click. This is the normal way of doing. Now let me execute this. You can see that it is not clicking on this deprecated. The red button here is turned on. That means it is still waiting. Implicit wait is working here. It has started a 20-second timer. The timer will go till 20 and after that it will fail. From this line number 18, you are getting an error. No such element, unable to find this element deprecated. Whenever the script is failing, we first need to check the spelling. Here it is deprecated, D-E-P-R-E-C-A-T-E-D. D-E-P-R-E-C-A-T-E-D. The spelling is correct. But here you can see that in this application, deprecated is in capital letter. So we need to use this capital letter. Let me change that first. This is deprecated dot click. But when you go to the bottom, you can see that there is a keyword iframe, and when you mouse over on that iframe, only this portion is getting selected. Just click on that iframe, then it is open. It has opened an iframe tag, and this section is contained in an iframe, and it has a name associated with it. So to perform an action on an element which is located inside an iframe, we need to switch to that frame. And there are multiple ways in which we can switch to a frame. One is using its name, and we can pass the index also. So here name is class frame, so I'm using that. Before performing an action on this element, as this element is located in a frame, I need to switch to that frame. So writing driver, switch to, I want to switch to a frame. There are different ways in which we can switch to a frame. Now I'm going to use this one, frame, string name or ID. To this method, we can pass either the frame name or ID. This class frame. So driver switch to frame class frame. After moving to that frame, perform a click action. Now let me execute this. Now it has performed the click action. Now imagine that you want to perform a click action on this action. Right click, inspect. You can see that it is a hyperlink and it is also contained inside a frame. There at the bottom there is an iframe keyword, and this element is also contained in an iframe. So first we need to switch to that iframe, and then we can perform the click action. Click on that iframe keyword. For that particular section, the name is package frame. So we are going to move to this frame. Driver, switch to frame. Using its name, this package frame. After that, we're going to perform a click action here. So driver, we know that it is a link text. So driver find element by its link text, which is actions.click. In this line number 18, we are moving focus to this class frame, and then we are performing an action on an element which is present in this class frame. Now, you should remember one thing. The focus is in class frame itself. So inside this class frame, it will search for this package frame. So if we write like this will fail because inside this class frame, there is no package frame. It is a separate frame. So here we need to add one more line. Whenever a page contains multiple frames are loaded and you are inside one frame, you need to go back to a default position. If you want to move to another frame, you should go to that default position, and from that default position you can switch to any other frame. So I'm doing that here. So driver switch to default content. So driver switch to default content. This will move focus from the current frame. Now we are in class frame, and this line will move focus from this class frame, and now it is not pointing to any frame. From that point, we are asking to switch to the package frame. Then this will work. Now let me execute this.
Hey Binu, sorry to interrupt. Do we have more to cover? Like we already crossed our scheduled time.
Yeah, it will take another 5 more minutes.
Do we need to take a? Okay, okay,
Yeah, it will take only 5 more minutes.
sure, okay.
Here you can see that clicked on deprecated and then it clicked on actions. So here the important concept is default content, which will move focus from the current frame. Now it is not pointing to any other frame. Here there is one more method available. Driver switch to frame. We can pass an integer index also. This page is divided into 3 sections. This is index 0 position, this is 1 and this is 2. So if you pass index as 2, we can perform an action on this deprecated link. So driver switch to frame index 2. And here driver switch to frame index 1. It will perform the same thing. So in case of index, when a page is divided like this, this is one division, this is another division, and this is another division. The index will be like this: 0, 1, 2, 1, and 2. This is a horizontal division, and if it is divided like this, this will be index 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So in our case, 0, 1 was there, and here, instead of 2, the 2 was here. This was our example. So here, this is index 2. So that is about frame and how to move focus to a frame and switching to a frame and all. Now moving to the last topic, which is working with the drop down. Here, there is a drop down country, and if you want to select a value from this country, we need help of predefined class of Selenium, which is known as select. I'm going to create a new class. Drop down demo. Include main method. This is the URL. So let me change the URL. Inspect, find out the properties of this element. You can see that it is contained in a select tag and it has a name associated with it. So if you want to select a value from a list, first you need to identify that element. So the locator here is name. So we can use that locator. Driver, find element by its name. You know that this is a web element, and store web element. There is a type available in Selenium that is known as web element. So web element country is equal to different name CTY. You can't import web element. Now, to select a value from a dropdown, we need help of select class. Select is a class. Create an object, this dropdown. You can give any name. Go to new select. In this constructor, we need to pass that element from which you want to select a value. So here I want to select value from this. Then import select. Now using this object dropdown dot. There are multiple ways available. The most commonly used one is select by visible text. Select by visible text, we need to pass that string text as it is. So here, visible text is Albania. Whatever you see in the application, that is the visible text. So if you want to select Angola, you will be writing driver dot select by visible text is Angola, all in capital letter. Then we want to select an element, that is drop down dot select by index. Another method is index, where you can pass the integer index. For every drop down, the index will start from 0. So Albania is index 0, Algeria 1, 2, like that. In case of a lengthy drop down, it is difficult for us to find out what is the index of this Australia. So in case of a small drop down, we can use index. Here, if you want to select Algeria, we will be passing index as 2. Select by index 2. Next, there is one more method, this drop down dot select by value. To select by value, we need to pass that string value. So here you can see that for every option which is present inside that drop down, there is a value associated with it. So value is Albania, Algeria. You can use this value also. You want to select Bahamas, you'll be writing dot value. That's it. Now let me execute this. Angola, the second value, and then finally change to Bahamas. Always note that whenever we are automating these scenarios, you won't be seeing this action, clicking on this, then selecting a particular value that you won't be able to see. Rather, it will automatically change the value of this drop down. So is this clear?
Binu, one small question. Is there any difference between this visible text and by value?
Visible text is what the user see in the application. In most of the cases, it will be the same.
Okay.
I'll execute it once more and I'll show you that. So to inspect, so this is a select tag. Open that. This is the value, and this is that visible text. In most of the cases, this value and visible text will be the same. So you can use either one. The visible text means you just need to look into this drop down and select it. If you are using value, then you need to fetch it from the applicant, from this from developer tool. That is the only difference.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay. So that's it from my end. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Binu, it was really a nice presentation. Do we have a recording for this? Because I joined a bit late, unfortunately.
Actually, I
Yeah.
need to check with Prathidhwani team.
Yeah. So we are going live on our page. That will be
Okay.
there in the page. You can refer it later as well. And we'll be uploading this to our YouTube channel, and you can watch it there as well.
Okay. So it will be in YouTube channel.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. It was a nice presentation.
Thank you. Any other questions? If you don't have any questions, I think we can stop the session. And I would like to thank Prathidhwani for giving this opportunity to interact with this much of people. Thank you, Team Prathidhwani.
Yeah. From on behalf of Prathidhwani, I would like to thank you, Binu, like spending a lot of time during this weekend as well.
Yes.
Binu is a very busy trainer, so
Okay.
she was able to find some time for us.
Oh.
So really thanks for that.
Are you working, Binu,
those,
or you are properly? Oh, great.
But she's a busy trainer. She has a lot of schedule, so
yes.
we were finding it difficult to find her time as well for this.
Okay. Yeah.
So a few words about Prathidhwani I missed in the first part. There was some technical glitches. So So we are, those who are new to Prathidhwani, we are a welfare organization for IT employees in Kerala. So we have presence in Technopark, Infopark, and Calicut Cyber Park. So we have a platform for all of your interest. So say we have women's forum, we have a sports club, film club, arts club, those kind of, all those kind of things we have. So anybody is interested to contribute anything to any of these forums, you can reach out to us. So we'll be making sure that your contribution will be added to Prathidhwani organization. So this was our 106th training session, and we had, with the success of tech forum, we had a job portal where we are circulating the jobs and all, and we have another program running called Back to Work for the career break people. So we are trying to help people, reskill people, and find job for the people who have break, all those kind of welfare activities we are doing. So thanks to all of you, like you spend a lot of time. We have scheduled till 12:30 and we have already extended 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for
So
that.
yeah, it was a real comprehensive session, Binu. So thank you all for participating. Thank you, Binu, for the session.
Thank you.
So hope we
Thank you
can
all for
wind up.
joining.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.